Greetings, everyone, and thank you all for tuning in to another edition of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, your host of Female Barber Talk, and tonight we are in episode number 15, entitled "The Pathway to Becoming a Barber Instructor." This one is very near and dear to my heart because I'm on that path. So our special guest, Mr. Arthur Stevens, is going to be on tonight to share his story, his path to ultimately becoming a barber instructor. It's going to be a really great episode. I'm really excited about it because it's touching for me. Because look, let me show y'all this. I'm on the path. So yeah, I got my pen. I'm gonna take some notes. Because I want to hear too. But nonetheless, let's introduce Mr. Arthur Stevens, who's our special guest for tonight, episode 15. First off, I want to say thank you to those of you who are tuning in live. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you for taking time out of your day to replay this podcast, episode 15, The Path to Becoming a Barber Instructor. So if you know someone out there, no matter what state they're in, the content is valuable. However, you got to go to your state's website, your LLR state's website, and get the details of the particulars for you to begin that path. But nonetheless, I'm going to share with you, meet Mr. Arthur Stevens. I'm excited to introduce to you someone who brings passion, purpose, and professionalism to the world of barbering, Mr. Arthur Stevens. I've had an opportunity to work with him shortly before he took that leap into becoming a barber instructor. But nonetheless, he began his journey as a self-taught barber at the age of 15. And today, he is not only a licensed professional, but he's also an educator committed to mentoring the next generation of barbers, and I'm going to say master haircare, and bringing them into the industry. Arthur has worked in both barbershops and academic settings, giving him a deep understanding of how to share skills, knowledge, and inspiration with future leaders in the industry. He truly believes that, he loved his craft. He truly believes that with dedication and hard work, anyone can turn their passion into a thriving career. What sets Arthur apart is his heart for mentorship. He knows how important it is to mature talent and pass on critical industry knowledge. And I want to say that's key. It's so important. You have quite a few individuals who are within the industry that don't really like to share. But the key is for me is to pass that information along. So not only can you keep it going, but you enrich the next generation of professionals. And preferably, they in turn will continue to pass that information along as well. Through one-on-one guidance and genuine support, he helps upcoming barbers build confidence, overcoming challenges, and grow into professionals who are ready to make their mark. Let's welcome, I guess I could have put that up so y'all can see who he is. Stand up. But let's welcome Mr. Arthur Stevens to the stage. Welcome. Thank you for joining tonight. As I was sharing with the audience, this is near and dear to me because look, I'm on that path.
Hey,
you know what?
Yeah.
Let me get my study material out so I can take some notes. Yes. Look, I'm on the path. So, all right, let's welcome Arthur Stevens to the show, the podcast. How you doing this evening?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for taking this time. It's very important to me that I have individuals on such as yourself who can bring not only cutting edge information, but who know what it takes. And in your case, you walked the path. You were self-taught before you became licensed.
Right.
You just have a well-rounded knowledge, and now you're in the classroom. You're helping other professionals, future professionals, prepare. So I was like, he done did it. So let's get him on. And not only have you done it, you're doing it in terms of preparing that generation. So
Right,
I'm a
right, right.
student today. I got my
So,
notebook.
hey, Yah-Tay, I definitely appreciate being on.
Yeah,
And you always was the person who take notes and write down information in preparation for what you was trying to get done. Uh,
right.
but just understand that I'm always here if you need me to help you. Uh,
You have been, and I thank
yeah,
you for calling me to, come in and chat with the students
yeah,
and just do what I can from my little position.
yeah.
But it's great. And y'all, I gotta tell y'all, I met Arthur coming into No Grease, and he was literally within a few days leaving to start the school year at Hayward Career and Technology Center.
Right,
So
right.
I have a lot of history with Hayward as well, but we won't talk about that. We gonna get you to tell us. Look, what inspired you to begin that transition? We know
Well,
you were self-taught, but what inspired you to begin that transition from behind the chair to becoming an instructor? Was that always your goal, from the start? Look, just take us back to the self-taught to the I'm licensed now to, okay, we gonna take this to the next level to instruct this next generation.
all right.
So share with us.
Well, let me talk, and I definitely want to share because I do have a
Okay.
story. As a kid, like you mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
I grew to love cutting hair.
Mm-hmm.
My auntie said, "Boy, look at you. You been kind of cut hair since you was cutting hair since you was 15. Now look at you now. I can't
Oh
even get
wow.
an appointment with you now. But overall, I self-taught myself as a kid,
Uh-huh.
and my practice, as you know, that if you want to become a barber, you have to
Mm-hmm.
get them reps in. You have to get practice. You have to get practice. Uh, and most of my practice was from friends and family. Um, so I continue doing it, continue doing it. Now,
Uh-huh.
30 years later, 30 plus
Look at
years later, um, I've been in a few shops, and just like you and I, came to
right.
know each other in No Grease
No
Barbershop.
grease. Uh-huh.
Um, and then at that point, but prior to this, I was in Richland One with a whole different career path with welding. So I taught welding when I
Wow.
first came to Hayward, uh, but I did welding and barbering at the same time.
Okay.
Sometimes you have to go out and do extra, to really want to accomplish what you're trying to get done. But sometimes it always brings you back to where you
You,
typically want to do.
you come back around to it.
And
You
back
you
to
are
it.
so right with that. Yeah.
So when they gave me the opportunity to come into Hayward to teach welding, that was my first four. They brought me in February, and February school had already started. Uh, So I dove in, all right, let's see how this is going to go. This is my first time. Never thought I was going to be an educator. Um, and then, so me having the patience that I have,
Uh-huh.
it took a little time, but I was able to fish myself through and depend on the resources that I had and
Right.
the veterans that was around me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I learned. So 3 years in, 4 years in, I learned a lot of different techniques on and being patient with students, learning the students, getting involved with the parents and making sure um, I understand what they're trying to understand. I had my
Right.
skills in
Mm-hmm.
welding. Um, I shared and poured out all the skills that I had within. So
Mm-hmm.
having that experience, and then when the opportunity came for a barber instructor is was needed, you know, it fell
You was
right into
lined up.
place. You know, so now I got 30 plus years of barbering, and I got a few years, about 45 years in education. So combining them two together, now I'm able to teach it, and share everything that I have um, with the students, with the future professionals who trying to be in
Mm-hmm.
this industry, and just let them know what it's gonna take for you to really get it done as a future professional if you want to be in this industry. And as
Yeah.
you know, as yourself,
Yes.
especially as
Yes.
being a female yourself, it's really tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really tough. But I think students or those who want to be, want to teach what they know. Right, the ones who want to teach what they know. I think I think it got to be something that's got to be passionate for you,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. I think when I decided to get from behind the chair and do this here full time, I
Mm-hmm.
had a goal. You know,
Right. Right.
I had a goal of creating or modeling or being an example of what they trying to get to. So
Right.
it takes work, but I'm patient for it, and
Mm-hmm.
I had a driven goal. I had a direction
The
of,
direction to
of
to
what.
get
Yeah,
you to where you want to be.
yeah,
Right.
and
Right.
so inspiring students, who want to be in this industry. I think I was a good fit for that. So
Mm-hmm.
once I placed myself in this position, now I got
Mm-hmm.
to really pour out and give the students what they want. Those who trying to be an instructor or want to be an instructor who want to teach students to become a professional in this industry, it's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm.
You only become a great instructor when you rely on other resources. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to do.
It's like your community,
Yeah,
that saying, it takes a village.
yeah,
So when you, as you're saying that, that's what I'm thinking when you talk about resources and
yeah,
having those resources and look into your resources. I need somebody to come in and talk about this, or can we take a
yeah.
field trip over here?
Right,
Those are resources.
right,
So I think about it taking a village
right,
to do what it is that you do, and
right,
undergird what you're trying to do,
right,
know what you are doing.
right.
And then I remember when you talked about the what is it, the shop that y'all have.
Yeah, the
I was
portable.
like, man,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
this is the setup, so they get that real
Right,
experience of what
right,
it's like, even though it's attached to the school, but it's still a barbershop setting where they get not OJT, they
right,
get real experience because people from the community come in and utilize the barbershop,
right, right,
so
right,
you do need those resources
right,
that community support to
right.
assist you with that. And I know you always say, hey, can you come in here? I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you got to let me know sooner because Saturdays be popping for us.
yeah. So that with the
Right, right,
so utilizing you
right,
or
right,
whatever, because sometimes we don't know everything. You know
right.
what I mean?
That's
And
right.
I'm
That's
fine
right.
with that.
Right.
But with the understanding that I can reach out to somebody who may know
Uh-huh.
what I need them to know and bring it to the
Right.
students, and
Right.
with that, with that understanding of what we trying to get to, you know.
Right, right.
So yeah,
So, y'all, I have put up the link to Hayward. If you have students, your children who may be interested in the barber and beauty industry as a profession, you have Hayward here. Wait, so I know y'all connect through the school, But what about those who are freshly out of high school? Is there opportunity for them to come through the program, or do they have to be in the school district in order to come through the program?
So let me talk about a little bit about how students can, actually get into this program. So
Thank you.
it's built around Richland One. So any
Okay.
students who's in Richland One, they have to have completed the ninth grade. Um, uh, they got to complete ninth grade, and if they're interested in the program, they have to reach out to their guidance counselor. Once they talk to their guidance counselor and have a little interest in the program, and then they can set something up with me, and then we'll have an interview and have a discussion about it. But those who it's only for Richland One students,
Okay.
right? So it's only for Richland One students. But those who interested and beyond high
Other
school,
districts?
if you're behind high school,
Okay.
or you're out of high school, or whatever the case may be, you could actually still contact me, and I might get put you in the right direction,
Okay. Gotcha.
where
Gotcha.
you would need to go.
Okay.
For the most part. So yeah,
So
uh,
let me ask this just in case there's someone catching this on the replay and they are interested in a program similar to this in a different district. Do other districts like a Richland 2, Lexington, a 5, 4, 2, any of these other
yeah,
districts, do they have something similar
yeah,
to this particular program? I know when I used to sub, I know LLR has it within their school.
right,
Lower Richland High School has it within their school. And I only knew of Hayward because I used to sub at Hayward too.
right,
So those two were the only two that I knew had the program.
right.
But of course, Hayward, the students are bussed in, whether it's the AM or PM course, they're bussed in to, of course, take that your program along with other trade skills that they can,
Yeah.
get as well.
Yeah. So in Richland 2, they
Okay.
have the same. They still have the same barbering program
Okay.
with at Ridgeview, uh,
Okay.
Ridgeview High. Uh,
Okay.
Lexington 5. I think they don't have a barbering program. Only district that really have a program in South Carolina. Well, in the surrounding areas, you will find Richland 2, and Fairfield County, uh,
Okay.
and us, as we the only barbering programs like really really close. You
Okay.
may have some down in Florence or somewhere like that, but however,
Okay. In
uh,
other counties, you
in
just
other
have to,
counties, but yes,
if they're in school, you would have to look at your local school district's website and
right,
see what they offer. If they're
right,
out of school, then you get into your Paul Mitchell's,
you get
your professional image,
right,
school of Kenneth Schuler type.
yeah,
They'll have to go from
exactly,
that perspective. But I'm
right.
going to say this: you in high school and you want to do this, you better
Mhm.
jump on it while you're in high school because the price for it skyrockets. I'm just
Right,
gonna say it
right,
skyrocket
right,
to put yourself through school. But there are programs out there that can get you to that goal of becoming a professional cosmetologist, esthetician, barber, master
right,
hair care, nail tech,
right,
whatever it is that you're looking to get into.
right,
There are schools, um, if you're out of if you've graduated, have moved on past high school. But if you're
right.
in high school and you're considering it, go to your guidance counselor. Check
Yes,
your guidance counselor out.
please.
And if you're in Richland 1, Mr. Art, he there at Hayward. Reach
Yes.
out to him. You can DM him. Let me put up that Instagram. You can DM him, slide into his DM at
Yeah,
Art
hit me
One
up.
OG.
Yeah, hit me up.
Hit him
Definitely.
up and
Because
he'll
we
he'll point
always
you in the right direction.
we
Yeah.
always looking for students who's willing. You know, everybody probably got some challenges or whatever the case may be, but however, you know,
Right.
the patient person that I am.
Uh-huh.
You know, we try to still, you know, fit whomever want to come into this program. You know, I interview each student per student to make sure there's a good fit. You know, because if this
That's true.
if this
Got to
what
be a
you want
good
to
fit.
do, there's got to be something that you really want to do. You know,
Yeah, because this
literally.
gonna take patience. You're gonna encounter challenges. Life gonna be life in, as they
Oh yeah,
say.
for sure.
A lot of different things. So at the end, in the end, what is gonna keep you motivated, inspired, disciplined,
Yes,
determined to
yes,
go through the program and complete what you've started.
right.
With that, I want to ask you a question in reference to the program. Is there a limit to the seats? How many seats you have in the class? Is that another reason for interviewing? Not just to see if this is something that they want. Do you have a excess amount of seats or limited amount of seats? For
Okay.
barbering, master hair care, how does that work when it comes down to students wanting to get in the program? One, and then what's the rotation? Meaning, when can they enter the program? Is it at the beginning of the school year, or when the new year, the second semester? Yeah, that's y'all. What? How many semesters y'all have? I know. Yeah, how many? Explain that to us.
I
Explain
got,
that.
I
Right.
got you. I got you.
Okay. Got it. Help me out. Help us out.
I got you. So students, they come to the beginning of the year, right?
Okay.
They come
Okay.
when school started. They come to the beginning of the year. It's a 2-year program. Students, come for 2 years every day. They
Okay.
come daily.
Okay.
Um, so we if we have 20 seats. It's
Okay.
it's 20 seats per license, which would be my license. So it's 20 seats. Um, the interview process is really just to be sure this is what you want. You know,
Got you because of the seats. You
yeah,
don't get nobody in
yeah,
that seat that ain't committed.
they
And
ain't
then you
committed.
got a child, a young adult.
Yeah,
Let me rephrase that. A young adult trying to get in the program who's
right,
really motivated, but somebody who's really not there done
right.
held up the seat. So you got to wait for the next
Yeah,
year for the seat to
yeah,
open.
and it's important,
Yeah,
because at the
yeah,
end of the day, if again, if there's something that you really want to do,
yeah.
you want to do, you know what I
Right.
mean? You have to commit. It's like a total commitment, uh,
Yeah.
and whatnot. And
A 2-year commitment.
I want to help those who want to be really committed to the program.
Right.
And I got tons. I got a lot of resources. Those who help me in the backdrop,
Right.
to prepare. Just like you mentioned about the portable, um,
Uh-huh.
excuse me, that we are
The
doing.
portable salon, the
Yeah,
barbershop.
man. Like, listen, it's. I'm excited about it. Everybody, on my team who know about it is excited about it. We trying to make sure we get it, and we work with a lot of different other communities because we're gonna have a back to school bash and a grand opening slash.
I've attended the back to school bash at his alma mater. That was
Oh,
yeah. I've
Claire,
done a
yeah,
couple. I did what 2 years with you last year.
yeah,
I was looking forward to it. Had my bag ready, but
yeah.
for whatever reason,
so we so
that one
so
didn't happen.
we having it
Yeah.
again at the portable.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
we're
Hey,
gonna we're gonna have a
look,
grand
if it's on
opening.
a Saturday, let me know so I can block out. I can block out my
I
schedule.
better let you know ahead of
Yeah,
time,
let me
right?
know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be
Uh-huh.
live. We want the students to be involved.
Right.
We want the community to be involved. We want people to know that we are here
Uh-huh.
so they can come, because getting a haircut is costly. So we, for the fraction of the price, you know, why not come, take advantage of it. We got some good students who trying to really get it done.
Uh-huh.
So I want to put them to work.
Right.
So
Now I heard that he want to put him to work. He want to put
yeah,
him to work.
so that's where we at with it. with this program and just adding different things to it, adding different pieces to it. It's just a matter of year to year trying to find something different to
Uh-huh.
keep the students interested and keep them motivated to want to actually continue with the program. Some seem to like, is this really what I want to do? But we want to make sure we try to keep it interesting,
Right, right. And that's
and then,
key. Just
yeah,
like technology changes and is updated, you want to ensure that not only are they getting cutting edge tools and information, but that the program is, interesting enough so that they'll want to come, not only come join the program, but finish the program.
right,
And
right,
hopefully, as a professional, like you said, direct them. Hey, put the word out.
yeah,
We
that's
are
it.
here.
Yeah,
We are here.
we want
If
to
you
have fun with it too.
right, right, we do. And
Yeah,
even though what we do, we wear a lot of hats. And I posed this question in my Q&A session last week. The misconception of what people think barbering is, that it's just about hair, and it's really not just about hair.
right.
um, there's a lot that go on: connection, networking. We are therapists, we are coaches, we are cheerleaders.
Right.
you know
Yeah.
it's a whole gamut. We're mentors,
Yeah.
we are confidants.
Yes.
It's a
Yeah.
lot that goes into it. If you just tuned in, you've tuned in to episode 15 of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. Tonight's guest is Mr. Arthur Stevens, who's the
Yes.
Master Barber and Barber Instructor over at Hayward Career and Technology Center here in Columbia, South Carolina. That is Richland 1. If you're interested in the program, the site is here for you to take a peek at it. I know that we've been talking about the barbering program itself, but as someone who's on the path to becoming an instructor, we're going to turn back to that. What keys what key skills and qualifications are essential for barbers or master hair care in our case, because I'm a master hair care on the barbering side, who aspire to teach the next generation of professionals? What are some things you believe are needed, like skills and qualifications? I know we got to have our instructor license. That's a prerequisite
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in
Yeah.
order to do it. But what are some things that you would share with us, that barbers and future barber instructors and future master hair care instructors need or should have?
Well, well, I could say for me, I'm gonna speak for my aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
When I actually, went to go do my instructor's license,
Mm-hmm.
it really came easy to me because I was already in the classroom.
Right.
And a lot of the information that you're being tested on is the same information. It's the same information. And yeah, I tell you, trust me, a lot of barbers in the barbershop always
Uh-huh.
ask me the question, man. I want to be an instructor too, man. How can I do, you know, um, so so you might want to share them.
Hey, hold up. I even have a little schedule here. Look, weekly schedule. I fell off, y'all. I fell off my weekly schedule, but go ahead, Art. Go ahead.
Listen, I just like I say, you are the one who take perfect notes, you know. But and as I could tell, a barber who wants to try to, be an instructor
Uh-huh.
um, and want to, get into the education portion of it or whatever,
Mhm.
um, it's going to take patience. You know, it takes a lot of patience. You can't just automatically assume, okay, I know I've been cutting for 40 years. Oh, I could go take this in the classroom and be successful. But it don't work that way, because students gonna change your whole mindset. They change it. I don't care what. And when I was teaching at Paul Mitchell,
Mhm.
and into Hayward Careers, and it's the same. It's the same mind state. Because
Uh-huh.
even though you in a secondary school teaching at on a collegiate level at Paul Mitchell, students gonna be students no matter what.
Right.
But you just have to, it ain't just taking your 30 years or 40 years into the classroom and automatically assume. So, and because I was already in the classroom prior to, it gave me a little bit of advantage, but I'm still learning though.
Right. Right.
Still learning, and I'm, just like I said, year by year, I'm still trying to get it to the program, get the program to where it's gonna work out itself. Um, but I want to say to those who actually, really want to get into instructing and talking, dealing, working with students or whatever the case may be, it's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of patience. It's going to take a lot of you, trying to figure out ideas on how to get your students to be motivated all
Yeah.
the time. Now,
All the time. The
you know,
engagement.
yeah,
Yeah.
they with you almost 180 days of the year.
Right.
So it's just making
Yeah.
sure, it's
That
tough.
they're engaged.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
And you
And
competing with social media
yeah,
and all
it's
this and other stuff,
all
you
kind of stuff
know.
you're competing with.
Right, right,
It's
right.
and it's tough, but
It's
it's
worth it.
doable.
Yeah, it's
It's
doable and
doable
it's
and
worth
it's
it.
worth it. If you have the same end goal,
Uh-huh.
I had an end goal and I got a plan and I got a goal of, you know, working with different barbershops, being able to supply barbershops with,
With student
barbers who,
coming
student
right.
barbers who trying to get out. And I want to be that. I don't want to be no ordinary, instructor, just instructing, but I want to be
This
somebody.
is
I
no
want to,
ordinary barber shop.
yeah.
He's no
Remember,
ordinary
remember I said
instructor.
that.
I got you. And see, I
Yeah,
cut on to that. Hey,
no,
that's no grease. This
yeah,
is not your ordinary
yeah,
barber shop.
exactly. And I want to be. I want to be able to, be a part of the community. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? The different barbershops around in the area. I want to be able to, barbershops be able to call me to say, I got how many students you got coming out. I want to be able to,
Yeah.
be that part of it, and whatnot. But if you really want to be an instructor and you want to get in the education part of it, again, just like I said, it's gonna take work. It's gonna take practice. It's gonna take a lot of
Dedication.
energy,
Yeah.
but once you start getting acclimated to, education, you just rely on your resources, rely on, those who've been doing it for years or whatever the case may be. Um,
Okay.
and I think you could, those who want to get it done, make sure that it definitely make sure this is what you want to do too. Just like making sure students you want to do this here, we want to make sure this is what you really want to do.
You make sure this is what you really
Yeah,
want to do. You really want to teach this. You really
yeah,
want to teach this. So
because they may make you run out of the school.
I've got quit. I'm done. I'm out.
No,
Deuces.
dang, I wouldn't.
So,
Hold on, I didn't know I had to do all that. But
right,
but,
right, right.
but
Right.
yeah,
So what I hear you saying is you have to have patience.
you have to.
Like when as a student coming into barbering or coming into the career, you got to know that this is something that you want to do.
Right.
Because there are going to be challenges. There are going to be days like you would scratch your head and the kid
Yeah,
make you
yeah,
want
yeah,
to
yeah.
scratch your head. Like, is this something I want? What was I thinking? And then you got to remember your why. You
Yeah.
have to remember
Remember your why.
why did I come? Why did
Right.
I say I want to do this?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
then I also see where you had previous teaching or instructing where
Right.
you had that, so it was kind of I won't say second nature, natural.
Yeah.
So it made it
Made it a little bit more
easy,
simple.
a little bit easier to transition
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah. It
As
made
well.
it a lot simpler.
What you say?
It did make it a lot simpler,
Right.
Coming from already, like
Having that exposure
yeah,
or that background in teaching.
right,
Yeah,
right.
I can see that. I can see that. So the other thing, so from the instructor, you have to take us through, because I'm actually there now. I was in a conversation with somebody who's like, no, you got to wait such and such. I'm like, no, I know what they said. I got to have my license at least 3 years, not including apprenticeship. So I just reached out to the board to verify that this year I am eligible.
Okay.
And I am, as of May 31st, that will complete my 3 years. So I become eligible after that point.
Good.
So the reason why I'm bringing that up is, if you are here in the state of South Carolina and you have held your barbering and master hair care license, meaning license, not including your apprenticeship,
Right.
but you have held your license for 3 years.
Right.
Then you become eligible after that 3-year mark. So the preparation for that's the first thing. You got to be eligible by having had your license. And also, you can't have no discrepancies on your license as well.
Right,
so
right.
That's another thing. And then, of course, you got to test. You have the practicum and the theory portion of the test. And the practicum is, look, I got my instructor theory examination content outline from PSI. So there are some questions, huh? What'd you say?
You need it.
Yeah, you need this. This is very important, and a lot of people don't really look at this. Yeah. It breaks down the section, tells you the percentage of where the questions are being pulled from. But in terms of the practicum exam, they will provide you with a subject, and you have to do a mock teach. You got to teach that.
So you got to create a
lesson plan, and you got to teach it to whomever's going to be there at that practicum exam. So it's like you'll be teaching a lesson, whatever that lesson is, whether it's, I don't know, sanitation, whatever. They'll give you the subject. You got to prepare a lesson, and you got to teach it. Now I see what you're saying, having that background and experience, like we do, because I sub a combination of 6 years, 2 states, 3 different counties. And I enjoyed subbing. I like the fact that I can go to a different class or a different school. But what I did in that setting was create community, where I went to certain schools. And the reason why I did that, because I know it was hard. Coming up, we gave subs a hard time.
Yeah.
So for me to mitigate that or minimize that, I stuck with a core group of schools, whether it was elementary, middle, or high school. And those were the schools that I went to. One, because I want the kids to get to know me. Oh, we got Miss Yah-Tay coming in. Oh, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how I did that. But back to what I was saying in terms of having that teaching experience. You have a lesson plan where the teachers provide you with it. You got handouts or whatever it is that is needed. So you have an idea of the classroom structure, what you're supposed to do for that day. So for us, it's not like we just pull out of the air what we're to teach them. We got a textbook, milady. And they have a program of what we're supposed to go through to teach them. Just like when we went through barbering school, we're in turn teaching those things. And So we're not only, I hate to say prep, because for us it's bigger than prepping for the exam.
Right.
Yeah, of course we want you to pass the exam, but we want you to be successful past the exam in the
Asking.
actual career,
Right.
you know, which is why I desire to become an instructor. I love teaching. And I know you watch me when I went in the barbershop with
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
clients. So
Right.
it's always like providing information. So
Right.
it's in me. But the other reason why I desire to teach um, um, it within this field is I feel like you, that experience, you have a lot to bring to the students
Right. For sure.
because of your passion, your upbringing, your time in the field. And for me, I've done a lot of things, y'all. I ain't gonna tell y'all all them things, but I've done a lot of things. And I feel like as a barber, a master hair care instructor, I would be valuable for the students coming
Right.
into it.
Right.
And then, you know, beyond that chair, I mean, beyond school, we got that industry experience.
Right. Right. And
Look,
that's a
this is really
plus.
what it's all about. Yeah.
That's a
It's
plus.
really what it's all about. Yeah.
But
So,
Yah-Tay, like
uh-huh.
you mentioned about competing against social media, that there, it's so, because when I self-taught myself and grew up, I
Right, right,
learned. I was creative. I mess up, fix it, clean it up, whatever the case may
right,
be.
right.
So we ain't had YouTube. We ain't had nobody to follow. We
Look,
ain't had, the
we
things
didn't
that
have influencers. We didn't have
we ain't
them
have that.
individuals that got a channel you
Yeah.
can go look at and they think, yeah,
And so you
I'm
can't,
with you.
and so you have to have that patience. If you ain't got them patience, if you don't have patience
Right.
to try to combat what they viewing and what you actually know. Like I could tell my students, like, you got 30 plus years of experience in your face. I could tell you this, try to share everything that I know, and some will follow, well, Mr. Stevens,
Such and such
such and such
on
did it this
YouTube.
way. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, listen, I'm not here to enable. My
Right.
job is to make sure you learn and understand the foundation and the concept.
Because the
And
foundation is what's going to hold you over when you get out there.
yeah, I remember you in one of your other episodes, you was talking
Uh,
about foundation,
mhm.
and foundation, trying to give the students a foundation to grow and
Right,
learn, um, much as they can learn, up under your umbrella.
right.
But at the same time, I'm not gonna, you know, down the social media, but
It needs to be a healthy
it
balance,
need to be a balance.
especially when there are students, when they're in school. So tell me something. Why did you come to school if you're putting the social media influencer over what we're
Trying to
preparing
teach
you
you.
to? Yeah, 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 yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's it's a
It's
combative situation,
right,
but that's,
right,
again, the patience.
right. That's where
It's gonna take a
you
lot
speak
of
about
that.
the patience come in,
Yeah,
where you have to have the patience to be able to
yeah,
not sit through it, but to sift through it with them, so
yeah.
they get the understanding of why you here and why this is the way it is.
And my
On
purpose.
top of the spray cans and the lines and the let me stop, and the paint.
Oh man, my God. I just can't, Yah-Tay, I just can't figure that out.
Right, right, right.
I can't figure it out. But at the same time, students got to understand, chemicals, how chemical can really, send somebody to the doctor, you know, um,
You can't spray everything on everybody's forehead.
You can't spray everything on everybody.
Right. You just can't do that because you got allergens. You gotta, and yeah.
And it's a situation where, and only thing I could do now for me as an instructor, I have to have patience.
Yes.
And I have to rely on outside resources. I rely on, certain people that I know for sure who are gonna support what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to put out here, or whatever the case may be. Because at the end of the day, we can't do it by ourselves.
Right.
I'm not gonna be the one to try to act like I'm Superman and I'm gonna do it by myself.
Right. I need some help.
If I know somebody who could do this here, you know what? I'm bringing them in, and
I'm bringing them in.
We
taking a field trip. We going to them.
We going to them. Let me show you.
I got look like last year. I at the hair show. I walked. Oh hey, Mr. He had the whole class. At the hair show. At the hair show.
Yeah,
but you do get them out. You bring them that exposure to show them different perspectives of the industry. Yeah, I like that.
How parents used to say, "I can show you better than I can tell you."
Right. I can show you better than I can tell you.
I can show you better than I can tell you. Right. We can talk about this all day and every day, and what I'm saying, it's not nothing that I'm just talking about. It's something that I went through and I've seen it and I've been through it and I did it and I did it. And if you're going to build a relationship with a client, with a person, with a customer, you got to make sure you that professional. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, this is a professional job.
Right.
Some undermine it or think that barbering is just barbering. It's just a hustle or whatever it may be. But this is not a hustle. And just like you mentioned earlier, the things that it ain't just cutting hair.
It's not. It really isn't.
When we look at it, cutting the hair part is you probably about 20% of it. The remaining of it is dealing with people,
customer service, dealing with challenges because you're gonna have some customers coming there. I'm gonna give y'all an example. I was coming in from taking a lunch, and someone was asking if we have anybody in the barbershop that do natural hair service. So I call them co-barbers because we work together, like co-workers, co-barbers, was saying, Miss Yah-Tay. And I was walking in and I said, yes, I am a service provider. I specialize in natural hair care. However, I also barber as well. So the gentleman asked about cornrows, and I'm looking at his head and I'm like, yes, I do that. So I showed him the sign because I have a price list next to our barbering list. And he proceeded to ask, well, do you shampoo and detangle? I said, sir, I'm a professional. All of that is included in all of my services. And that's part of the process. So he was like, I know a lot of people say they do, so I had to catch myself because before I knew it, I said, I'm not going to argue with you about this. I pointed to the wall so he could see my license, and I showed him the sign, and I was like, I don't know. So he laid my card back on the reception desk and walked out. I said, Lord, thank you, because that's somebody that I probably don't need in my chair.
Right.
I'm sharing with you what I do. I don't know who you've been to or who've done whatever to you, but this is what I offer. This is what I provide, and I can guarantee my work.
Right.
Anything outside of that, but the kids don't know about that.
They'll know
You know
about
what I'm saying?
it.
How
Yeah.
you have to maintain your position, even if they, chipping away. We got, can y'all cut? Who the best cutter in here? Who
Yeah.
the,
Yeah. Yeah.
no, we all can cut.
Right.
If we couldn't, we wouldn't be in here. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get that coming through. You
Right.
get clients, well, I just want to shape up. Then they get in the chair. Can you hit this right here? So they get one price, but then they get in the chair, start, oh, can you
Yeah.
do this here and do, that's a haircut.
That's a whole
That's
haircut.
a haircut.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the price. Oh, that's too much. But you got on a $150 pair of shoes. You got you got on a $75 shirt or whatever it is. You got the latest iPhone in your pocket, but you don't want to your grooming. You don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't even argue with them. I look. That's my price.
So and that type of conversation I have with students all the time, like, because at the end of the day, you still want, how would you deal with a situation?
Yeah.
Are you gonna create a environment where it's gonna be confrontation, or are
Right.
you gonna create an environment where it's a professional?
Right.
You could de-escalate anything and be a professional and just be done with it. But I know,
Look, even in that situation, when I walked in the back, I asked myself, could I have handled that a different way?
Yeah.
What could I have said differently? So I'm constantly monitoring myself when it comes down to interacting with clients. Because what our young people don't know, you are your business.
You are.
You are the business. They look at your social media. People look at everything.
Yeah, for sure.
I even monitor when I put up music. Yeah, I might go with something trendy, but you might not hear the vulgar. You will never hear the vulgarness in it if I add music or something along those lines. I'm mindful of what I post in terms of children. I get permission from the parents.
Right.
All of that. I try to put my clients in the best light possible when I'm taking pictures.
Right.
And I'm also when it comes down to social media, putting something encouraging, putting something enlightening, putting something informative in front of them, and not just promoting book with me. I'm the best.
Right.
I'm giving them something.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
it's more than just cutting hair.
It's more than just
Your
cutting hair.
presentation.
More than cutting hair.
Your presentation, when you are out and about, you're marketing yourself all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
I pull out a flyer. I pull it out quick. Oh yes. And
Yeah.
when I compliment people on their hair, whatever it is, I'm genuinely, I'm giving a genuine compliment. And sometimes people look at me like, no, I'm a barber. So that's another look.
Yeah.
I know what a good haircut,
right.
because now I have the knowledge in the background. I can, I see that line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or yeah.
So with all that, being that instructor, we see that the generational gap, being an instructor, it takes a lot of work, and I love it. I will never give it up. I would never do nothing different than what I'm doing now.
It's work.
It's work. It's gonna take work, and those who have the want to, get into the education. It's fun. It's a lot of work, and it's sometimes, sometimes it could be a headache, But at the end of the day, we talk about self-care, and
right.
If you
take
could
a time out, take a
if
break.
if you could work through, the hard pieces that you will have some hard pieces, but if you could rely on,
your community, your resources,
everything that you can rely on, I love it, because I talk to a lot of people, I got some team players, who's the bookkeeper. She helps out with a lot of my, my budgeting and putting things together that I need. Just
And
like we
see, they
try to,
don't know about that side of it too. Not just the instruction. You got budgets, for these 20 kits.
yeah,
What's
yeah,
in these kits? Do we need to go with another vendor this year?
yeah,
Because they prices with these tariffs. They look, we got to
yeah,
go find somebody else for these clippers or
yeah,
this blow dry, this color,
yeah,
and then you got to have the stuff in stock. So you ain't trying to run to the
yeah,
beauty supply store like
yeah.
the barbers do when they ain't
So
paying
let
attention to their inventory, right?
so I thank Ms. Reagan for a whole lot that she put together for my
Uh-huh.
program, for sure. It's just, and she's so knowledgeable about the budget and what I'm gonna need, and all she got to do is ask what you need, Miss Stevens, and what's gonna make it, make it work for you,
Right, right.
and you in the program, well, I need this here. You think we're able to get that?
You
Yeah,
think we
just like
right.
just like trying
And
to
that's
get
your
you.
internal customer.
Yeah.
She's your internal customer.
So and even like get you over there. How can I get her over here? Well, let's go ahead and figure this out then. Let's figure this out. So it's a big plus that Ms. Reagan doing a whole lot with my program.
Uh-huh.
And I can't, there's a lot of things that that I will never take it granted. No, take it for
Take for
granted.
granted. Right.
You know,
Right.
and I appreciate it. But again, students don't realize, all the things that I have to put into place. It ain't for
Just
me. It's for
it's
you.
for them.
And again, as an instructor, it's gonna take a lot of work. It's gonna take a
The
lot of
behind
work.
the scenes work.
It's gonna take a lot of work. So those who try or want to be an instructor, just know that is you have an end goal. If you want this, I want the students to win, so I want to do everything that we can to make them win.
To
Put them
ensure, yeah.
put them in a position where they'll be able to go out here and be a professional and make the income that they think that that they want to make. And I automatically assume that you're gonna learn everything within the program. Because
Foundation.
yeah, just the foundation and the information.
The foundation, the fundamentals to get to put you on solid ground to get out there. Then you got to get out there. The repetitions, like you said, you got to put in that. You got to put in the work. And I know that in our side, we don't have continuing education. But to be at the top of your game, you want to continue to educate yourself, regardless of what the state requirements are as it relates to that. Because you got to stay on top of bringing your clients the latest. That helps you to improve your service to your clients by knowing the products and all of these different things and the exposure, the networking. You just never know. You never know.
That goes to what I think probably part of the challenges.
And that's my question. What challenges and rewards come with balancing teaching and staying active in the barbering industry?
So we talked about a lot of the challenges, a lot of challenges, but the rewarding part is to see your students win. Because if I could go out to a shop and see my student, okay, he's doing a good job, whatever, that's the win for me.
Right.
It ain't about the money, it ain't about how much I'm making or none of that above.
Right.
As long as I see that
the student
win, because when the student win,
you win.
The parent win.
The
program wins. Ultimately, I win.
Right. But I like how you put it. The student win, the parent.
Yeah.
The program. And then ultimately you win. But all of these things come first to get them in that position.
Yeah, because
that's all right.
It ain't about me.
Right.
It's about what position I'm gonna put them in.
Right.
And
that's what good instructors do. They position their students to win.
Yeah.
They got to put in the work in order to win.
They got to put in the work.
They got to continue to put in the work in order to win.
Accountability.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Accountability.
Yeah.
And so I've I had my own challenges. I had my own challenges, but I got a support team that try to put me on a different balance. Try to balance out what I got going on to make it make sense.
Right.
And I'm gonna continue doing what I do. No matter what challenge come or what student don't want to listen or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing. And
let's talk about what the students are doing. Can you set up for this clip that I'm gonna share with them? Set us up for this clip.
Let's talk about
what the students doing. What y'all doing over there in Haywood? Tell us what y'all doing over there in Haywood.
I told you they just cutting hair. It ain't right. I want no ordinary barbershop. Let's talk about
no ordinary haircut. Hold on. Let's bring it up for us to add to the stage. So here's the clip. It'll probably do an ad because I'm sharing my screen. But the students over at Hayward, along with Mr. Arthur Stevens, they're doing more than just cutting hair.
Right.
They're assisting in the community. They're supporting the Columbia's homeless. So set us up with this clip. How did this take place? What happened? What happened?
Well, I reached out to the media team at WIS, and I was telling them about the story, and I wanted people to know about this program and what we are contributing to the community. And I want the students to understand that it ain't just cutting hair. You giving back gonna only give you a bigger reward, at the end of the day, and also getting your reps in and understanding different hair textures and understanding different possible diseases or whatever the case may be.
What you can encounter,
So we partner with Transition Homeless, and we go there every other weekend to take different students. We rotate them. Those who want to go, we take them over there. Let's just cut, and make them happy.
Let's play this clip for them.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's play the clip. Let me get it up. Hold on. It should be playing now. There we go.
How do you make an Airbnb a Verbo? Picture a vacation rental with a host who's showing you every room like you've never seen a house before. Now get rid of them. There you go. No host ever. Now it's a Verbo.
3 seconds. Hold on. 1 second.
To a story that shows us how using what you do best could easily better the lives of others.
A group of students at Richland One's Hayward Career and Technology Center are taking what you might call a more creative approach in their path to a better future, studying to become hair care professionals in just a few years' time.
Our Justin Walsh shows us how this class isn't just giving these students a better chance at a future, but also leaving a huge impact on a Columbia community where they need it most. Take a look.
Is it definitely more than just a haircut?
It's more than a haircut.
It could just be maintenance, upkeep, or even just a part of the schedule for many. But for a group of students at the Hayward Career and Technology Center, it's just a haircut doesn't sit quite right. It's a chance to learn, follow a new path in life, and even give back.
I'm doing different things, and I see that the potential of a change and how we're going to make sure this program grows.
Arthur Stevens has been in the haircutting business for over 30 years now. Now he devotes his time to preparing the next generation of barbers and hairdressers for their future careers. And he gets to do so in quite a unique setting.
And I want to hope to change their mindset maybe to a more business aspect. And this is my role to make sure that happens and make sure I make myself available.
Hayward Career Center in Richland School District 1 offers a barber and master hair care class that gives aspiring business owners the entrepreneurial skills they need to make their now dreams a future reality. And Stevens does all he can to give these students the proper tools to make it happen.
To put my energy that I know, with the information that I know, I want to put it back into this program and help it grow.
The most important being that true hands-on experience they need. Not only is this a class, but it's also a spot where anyone in the public can come in and receive a variety of hair-related services, whether that be a cut, color, or chemical treatment. These students are getting the essential practice to prepare them for their eventual state board exam that will certify them as licensed hair professionals. But as Stevens tells us, it isn't just a class, but a chance at a brighter future for those students who may not have been dealt the best cards in their lifetime.
Yeah. Some may have, families that may, maybe poverty thing, and they want to change the direction of their culture of their family, maybe.
So he's not just teaching a skill or a technique, but morals to carry throughout the rest of their personal and professional lives. And one of those morals is the importance of using what you do best to better the lives of others.
And also they understand the fact of knowing it's nothing wrong with giving back.
Giving back, and doing so for a group who truly understand just how far a little helping hand can go. This past weekend, Mr. Stevens and 5 of his students took the class over to Transitions Homeless Shelter here in Columbia. So the students were able to use all of the skills they've been learning to help out the homeless, giving free haircuts to any resident who may want one, an effort that transitions their extreme gratitude.
Okay, it's still okay.
And for Mr. Stevens to think of transitions and to get the students involved in not just a trade, to get them involved and giving back to the community, I think it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Transitions offers the support for those who are at most times overlooked and underserved as they look to get back on their feet. And sometimes a fresh new cut can be a big step in that process.
Yeah,
that's right. Feeling good about yourself, looking good, and then getting that job, and then permanent housing is our ultimate goal. Get the clients a job and then permanent house.
Transitions volunteer coordinator Marla Armfield tells us that the program isn't just about housing the homeless. It's about supporting and setting them up for a more promising tomorrow, so that this point in their life really is a transition.
Monday, one of these clients might have an interview on Monday, and these students came out and did a great job cutting hair. So if you feel good and look good, you're going for that job, you might get it, you should get it. Yeah.
But the whole goal is to go service those who are unfortunate and let the students see that and know that it's good to give back. Most of the time, and we'll hear time after time, you reap what you sow. And so that's the energy I want to bring to my team, the future professionals is what I call them.
So it's all about putting the energy into the world that you would like to receive back. And for these students, a Saturday morning may not be the most ideal time to be up and at 'em, but they recognize that what they're doing is worth a lot more than sleeping in.
It feels good to bring a spirit to somebody's life.
And throughout the day, the mini shop setup never saw a lull, as residents were lined out the door waiting for their turn.
I remember
and as
that.
Marla tells us, all she had to do was post a flyer in the common area, and the clients came running.
Mm-hmm.
So we at 21. Now, if I go up and make an announcement on the intercom, it'll be evil.
No need for an announcement or even a push, because to everyone at Transitions, it really was more than just a haircut. There's a sense of value that comes along with these services, an idea Mr. Stevens tries to keep at the forefront of his students' minds.
And I want them to understand value. When you understand the value of what you could do, then you can dictate how much money you can make.
So when it comes down to it, the value of a haircut is worth much more than a few snips, but a chance at moving forward on the outside and on the inside.
Gosh, I love it.
In Columbia, Justin Walsh, WIS, News 10.
I love it.
Wow, that's awesome right there. It brings back memories. You talked about reps. I volunteered at Transition as well for that, but me being much older than the students and going out into the community, I knew the value of giving back.
Right.
And the reward when they know you coming or they see you coming, they line up.
Right.
They would line up. But tell us more about that aspect of the program.
Well, again, like I said, I love it.
And I'm gonna share, because I have some images of when I was there helping out. So I was not only able to just cut, but I also provided natural hair service for some of the clients as well. I call them clients as well. So
yeah. So it was it was good. It was nice. I like it, and I want the students to know that, again, like I said earlier, that it's not wrong with giving back. You don't have to always think that everybody have to give. You have to give in order to receive, whatever the case may be.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's just helping your community, letting people know that you're genuine, and you don't mind taking the time out of your day or whatever the case may be, and providing a service for those who's unfortunate. It's a lot of unfortunate situations that enable whomever to buy the services that is provided. So that's why I take them over there and listen. Let's go.
Right. It's important to do that. It helps out in so many ways.
And that goes to good instructors. Again, as an instructor, it's just things that you need to, things that you will have to, put in place. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, if you want to be an inspired, instructor who want to, help future professionals to get to, wherever you were or wherever you are, or whatever the case. Just like in my where I'm at, I've been doing it for a long time, and I never imagine, that I would be in a position where I could change somebody's life.
Right.
Even if it's that one person, or two people, it don't matter. If I could change somebody's life, for the good, then I've done something. I've accomplished something. And I'm gonna continue doing it until I know for sure, that person say,
they got it.
Like I tell them all the time, like, you're gonna thank me later.
Yeah, you're gonna thank me later.
Some things you might not like, or some things you might not be like, oh, well, I got to do this again. I did this again. I do it again. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
Yeah.
And so I definitely I enjoy the path where I'm at. I wouldn't turn back the hands of time, to change what I'm doing. I was glad and blessed to have the opportunity to be in this position and get set up, to where I'm at now. But thank God, thankfully, school almost over.
So how many more weeks y'all got?
We got about 4 to 5 more weeks. But again, as instructors, we still need that self-care.
Yeah, you still need the self-care. So tell me something. Do the little barber shop stay open during the summer?
Yeah, we still gonna be working there during the summertime.
Okay.
Like I said, we're gonna have the grand opening, the back to school stuff. Just like I say, Ms. Reagan helping me with a lot of that to make sure it's the program is successful. And we want to make sure the community take advantage of the services that we provide and whatnot. So we might have to team up to go out there transition.
Okay. Hey, let me look. Don't be texting me at the last minute to hit me up so I can.
We might have to team up and go out there.
My schedule to get out there with y'all.
Yeah, we might have to team up and go out there.
I would love to do that. I would love to do it. I don't get out as much to do community stuff. However, I do have a few elderly clients that I go see who don't have transportation, so I pack up and go
Be
go take care.
that
So that's kind of
barber,
like
huh?
my community, my community work. But it's very rewarding, like you said. It gives you for me, it gives me a sense of pride in that I've used my talents, I've used my gift to help somebody in a meaningful way.
Yeah.
Because a haircut is it does wonders. It changes people. You come in looking one way and you get up out the chair looking a totally different way.
Right.
It's what we do is amazing. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to be doing it at this time and be in the industry at this time. And grateful to have come across you. Because look, I was coming from transition, get my reps in before I could get into the barber shop, so that I feel comfortable and come in and I meet you.
Yeah.
So and you was making that transition to go into and to become an instructor. But Arthur, I just want to say thank you for all that you do. The work that you're putting in with our future professionals, because they need it.
Yes.
And thank you for seeing in me whatever it is to bring that to your students as well, because I've been in to visit with him a few times, and have done some back to school events with him, and it really makes you feel good. I actually look forward to it, so I'm just grateful. And I show up when I'm when I got enough notice. I show up. I'm just getting. I show up when I got enough notice to get.
We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to have. Yah-Tay, we're gonna have to have a calendar where we're gonna share things like, all right, on this date,
okay,
on this date now,
right.
I'm gonna need you June the 7th. Yeah, so. We June the 7th, they having a back to school again.
Okay, so look, text me that so I can put it on your calendar. Text me that so I can put it on the calendar. I know I've taken up quite a bit of your time. I know
I'm good, and I appreciate it.
No, thank you. So the last question I want to ask: any advice for aspiring professionals? As it relates to getting into the industry, or from actually going into the barber and beauty industry, as well as becoming an instructor. Any advice you want to share? Well, anything else you want to put out there for us?
We talked about a whole lot.
I know we did, y'all.
and we share and share stuff. And I think the advice that I would give to those who want to be, not only, instructing, want to be a barber, it's going to take work. It's going to take work on both ends, either instructor or, want to be a barber. All of it's going to take work, and you just have to have that patience. If you don't have that patience and your personality and your attitude and everything's gonna come, it's gonna take all that, and just like I tell the students, I can't teach personality. We can work on it, and whatever the case may be, but I can't teach personality. But my advice is that if this is something that you really want to do, barbering or instructing, whatever the case may be, if this is something that you really want to do, you're gonna press the gas and make it work out. Hit the gas. And do what you need to do to make it work out. Again, everybody have challenges. Everybody have a certain milestone or a goal. Everybody got their own individual goal. Nobody can create it for you. If you have a goal to be an instructor, go be an instructor. If you got a goal to be a barber, let's find out what you need to do to get it done.
To get to that point.
You need to get it done. And I'm also going to share this here. We do service for the community, kids. We there from 12:30 to.
I was gonna say, tell us the time.
12:30.
If you can put the prices out there,
you can just reach out to me about the pricing and
okay,
scheduling appointments. We do service from 12:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and on Saturdays we do service from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you want to reach out to me, you can reach me at 803-735-3343, extension 63375.
Okay, let me put that up. 803
735-3343.
Hold on, 735-33 what?
43.
43.
Extension 63375.
63375.
Yes.
Contact Mr. Arthur, Mr. Stevens.
That's right. And we can
go
ahead.
Put that up so that folks can see it. Make sure I got that right. Add this banner here. So if you are interested in the services or just want to reach out to Mr. Stevens, contact information is 803-735-3343, right?
That's right.
63375. You can reach me.
Correct. Yes.
Y'all, hey, y'all hit him up.
For sure. And Yah-Tay, I definitely appreciate, the invite to come over here and share what I know and,
Thank you.
what I love. Again, I've been doing it since I was a yay old. But I love it, and I won't do nothing different. I'm just gonna continue learning, just like I go to different hair shows as well. Learn. Rely on my, my circle that's really a cheerleader for what I got going on. Everybody who want to make it work for me, you know what I'm saying?
They support you, yeah.
And again, I'm gonna continue working with outside resources, and that's it. I love it, and I won't give it up, So
you in there. The key is to see the students win, the parents win, the program win, and ultimately you win because you put those three things lined up. When the students win, parents definitely win, and the program ultimately wins as well, which goes back to you and your support staff there. And then, of course, like Mr. Stevens said, he has resources within the community, so it's not just about him. He has other resources and people that he leaned to support him to make this work. And what's the bookkeeper name? What's the name?
Miss Reagan.
Miss Reagan.
She making sure. Yeah, that we, this program win. She's not only my program. She got other programs that she's trying to make sure
that everybody have what they need.
Everybody get what they need for their program. And it's a plus. And I can't ask for nothing else different than that. And when we get this portable together, we're gonna have a grand opening. I'll make sure I let you know.
Okay.
You can
so I can be there. So I want to be at the grand opening.
So you can post the flyers. We're gonna have everything. For the kids. It's gonna be a win-win situation.
That's it. Yeah. Thank you so much, Arthur, for joining. For those of you who are interested in the program, someone who's interested in the program, do contact Mr. Stevens at 803-735-3343, extension 63375. You won't regret it. So you got those future barber, aspiring barber professionals, the master hair care professionals. He got you. Not only that, once they finish the program, the connection in the community to see them continue to win as licensed professionals in the industry. So it does take the village. It does take the community. and Arthur has a great supporting cast to help him do what he does, not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well.
Exactly.
And I thank you, because I've learned a lot. The key thing you kept saying was patience. And I know I have patience, but that just continues to remind me that, okay, Yah-Tay, you got to have patience. And you got to put in the work, which I'm not afraid to work. But there are things that you got to put in place before you can become an instructor. If you're not in the state of South Carolina, look to your LLR to see what the requirements are. It may be 3 years. It may be more than that. I don't know.
Right.
But for the state of South Carolina, you have to be licensed for at least a minimum of 3 years. And once you do that,
excluding apprenticeship.
Thank you. Excluding apprenticeship. So once you completed your apprenticeship and you get your regular your official license, official license, that's when it starts. So it's 3 years from that date that you become eligible to become an instructor. And the preparation for that, you have to make sure that you have your PSI instructions. You're going to take 2 parts, the practicum and the theory portion of it. And in the practicum portion, they're going to give you a lesson that you have to present to them. And as Arthur said, his background being in the classroom, that helped him out tremendously. So it gave him the insight to be able to put the lesson plan together and ultimately deliver it to the board or whomever, he had to deliver it to at the practicum exam in order to pass that portion of it. And then, of course, the theory, which is the book stuff, classroom organization, classroom setup, and a host of other things.
Right.
Classroom management, the whole 9 yards, teaching, learning styles, different things along that line. So there are steps to prep you to do that, but you want to know that you got the heart for it, you got the patience for it, because you're gonna be challenged.
For sure.
Challenged in the classroom.
For sure, definitely.
And it's more than just the classroom with instructing. You got the back end, you got the lesson plan, in which that part of it, you get what you're supposed to teach. You just got to lay it, you got to teach that on top of managing the budget.
Oh, yeah.
There's a whole lot of other stuff that go on. So it's not just teaching.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other things that go into it. So know that in your aspirations to become an instructor, like we tell them, it's not just hair. Well, it's not just instructing when you get on the instructor.
It just ain't instructing. Yeah.
It just ain't instructing.
It just ain't
It's more to it than
it's more
that.
to it.
It's management, it's budget, it's it's a whole lot of other stuff that
it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. Sometimes that's why self-care gonna be very important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things can be stressful, and you never know. Mental health. Mental health is really serious.
Yeah.
And if you're not able to create a balance, or try to manage, and I'm working on a balance. I'm still working on a balance. But I've gotten a lot better, and whatnot. But it's gonna take that.
Yeah, but I can see what you're talking about working on it, because you're in the first 5 years, so you're building, you're making the necessary adjustments with it, and you got to do. You should devote. I'd say you should devote the time. Well, it's going to require. I'm just going to say it's going to require additional time to get it set up. Work out the kinks and, all of those different things, so that, 10, 15 years down the line, you got a program that is smooth. Right. Thank you. So, yeah, you coming into it, whether you coming into a new program or you just starting, you still got to get in and put the work in first.
Right.
You got to put the work in to see it smooth sail on the back end.
Right.
So
For sure.
it's not just instructing.
Yeah.
Like we said, it's not just cutting hair. It's not just hair. It's not just instructing. It's more than just instructing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to put in the work.
Thank you. Anything else you want to say before we close out this?
I think we shared a whole lot.
No, we did.
Everybody just have to, do what you need to do. You know, create your space. You know, and make it work out for you, because the only person can make it work out is yourself.
Right.
Right. First thing you need to do is say, I want to do this. Yeah. That's it. I want to do this.
Decide that this is what you want to do.
Right.
And then map out the plan. Map the plan out. But it's not just instructing, y'all. It's not.
We in it to win it.
Yeah, we in it to win it. We want everybody to win, from the students, the parents, the program, whatever program you choose, whether it's a school district, a state, or a private program such as your Paul Mitchell, your Kenneth Schuler locally, or YPI, and there are many other programs out there. Diversity Barber and Beauty Academy. There are many of them out there, but you have to ensure that you got to make the decision first. Yeah, this is something you want to do. Put your plan of action together and work the plan. But you got to have patience and because I tend to be hard on myself. Give yourself grace. And I'm speaking to me. Give yourself some grace, self-care, but add that self-care in there, because you're gonna need it.
You're gonna need it. Yeah, you're gonna need it for sure.
You're gonna need it. Well, thank you, Arthur. I appreciate you. Thank you, those of you who tuned in. If you're catching this on the replay, thank you for taking time out of your day to replay this broadcast or this podcast. And if you know somebody that's looking to get some inspiration for becoming a barber instructor, a master hair care instructor, any instructor in the beauty industry, there's some gems in this podcast that they can glean from. And the biggest one is patience. You got to have patience throughout the whole process, whether it's with yourself, with the program, with the young professionals, future professionals. You got to have patience. Yeah,
for sure.
That's all I got. Thank you, Arthur. And look, send me them dates so I can put it on the.
I got you covered.
All right,
I'll be needing you, so.
Okay, no problem. I got you. I'm there. I'm there. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to episode 15, The Pathway to Becoming a Barber Instructor. I am Yah-Tay Keaton, also known as Yah-Tay the Barber Stylist, your host of Female Barber Talk with Yah-Tay. And you have joined our 15th episode with Mr. Arthur Stevens, Master Barber and Barber and Master Hair Care Instructor over at Hayward Career and Technology Center. Get him up. If y'all look, just reach out to him. He'll take care of you.
For sure.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.